Start with the game. We got off to a good start. We had a good week of prep. We jump out. Defense gets a stop. We go down. We score first play. We hit outside zone and we take a 7-0 lead. And defense comes out. And we get that strip sack and boom, we jump up 14-0. So you couldn't ask for really a better start right there. And then here's the thing. You get up 14-0. And you've got an opportunity. So we had the ball up 14-0. And, we didn't extend that lead. We didn't cash in that opportunity to extend it. Then, defense, they come back and they score. They make it, it's 14-7. If you look at the first half defensively, we stopped them on 4 or 5 drives. And one of them was a strip sack. They scored one drive. Thought we played really hard. Made a lot of tackles behind the line of scrimmage, got them off the field, playing at a high level. And when we got that 14-0 lead, we had an opportunity. And then when it's 14-7, we've got the lead and we've got an opportunity. Now, 2 of the 3 drives of those opportunities, we had a penalty on first down, to make it 1st and 20. And we put ourselves in a bad situation. And then we had another penalty on one of the drives on 2nd and 7 that makes it 2nd and 17. Then we end up 3rd and 35. So self-inflicting, penalties that put us behind the sticks in opportune moments. It's okay. It's 14-7 at half. We've got the lead. It's a 4-quarter game. And we come out and our game plan was to establish the run. That's what we do. And then we come out to start the second half and we go -1-0. So it's 3rd and 11. We don't execute. Boom. Then they come down. Now here we go. So what? It's 14-14, and then we come out again and we get a penalty, 2 of the next 3 drives to stop them, where you have a big play or you have a positive play, and then it sets us behind the sticks. So those are the negatives. You have opportune times to pull away and really strengthen your opportunities to win the game. And it's penalties within, or lack of execution within. And that's what it is. You can look at it and you own it. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to own it because that's what it is. And as the game went, we're still sitting there in it, and it's 20-14, and you've still got an opportunity to do it. And then you have a turnover. It was a good ball. Safety made a good play. We wanted to try to take the shot 1-over-1. Hey, he made a good play. Tip your hat. So at the end of the day, that's what it was. And, is it frustrating? Yes, it is. It is. We've got 27 seniors out there on senior day that have played their tails off. But here's the positives. Because that's what it was. They're 7 for 15 on 3rd down. They're 4 for 5 on 4th down. But I think that as the game went, the time of possession, I think we got wore down defensively. And, that's part of playing complementary football. But it's hard to be good on 3rd down when you're in 3rd and 20, you're in 3rd and 35, and you're in 3rd and 22. It makes it tough on anybody. So we kind of self-inflicted a lot of those situations. The positives are, I think we had several guys play their best football. You look at, Jabari Tiller, who had a great game. You had Jalen Foster, who is really coming on, and they're both playing new positions. Your first starts in some positions, and guys are stepping up. Zy Jackson, who's played corner, is playing safety. I thought Zy made some really good plays. I thought Jaden Hamlin had his best game. I thought Noah Fleming had an outstanding game. Marcus Ross had a big game. We had a lot of guys have big games. Cliff Mosley made a lot of big plays. I thought, even from Julian Nixon making big plays. So there was a lot of great plays and great moments and effort in that game. But at the end of the day, to win college football games, especially in this league, you got to execute. You can't self-inflict, those penalties and plays that that set you back. So that's what it was, and we own where it's at. So what do we do about it? I mean, so, okay, you sit here, and let's go to, let's say what it is. You're in year 2, and you've had 10 chapters, 10 games. And where are we at as a program from where we were? Last year, we were getting bled out this time, in the run game. And we went out and we got bigger, faster, stronger. We've got our nutrition program established. Felt like we recruited really well and brought in some guys. And so we've been able to do that. We've been able to stop the run. We've been able to do the things that were weaknesses last year. I think, we've had some things happen in the back end, and we've had to move some guys around and play some guys in different positions. Now you're starting to see them thrive. You're starting to see Jabari Tiller. You're starting to see Jalen Foster. You're starting to see these guys thrive. Where offensively we had to be more explosive. That's something that we haven't done this year. And our execution and situationally has put us back in third and longs. I think we're at 29 third and longs. So where we've come through these 10, we're sitting here and we're competing with the best in this league. Whether it's Southern Miss, whatever the situation is, that game, doesn't matter. None of it matters. Where we are, where we at, who were we Saturday, regardless of the situation, doesn't matter. And there's a ton of positives, and I see where we're going, and I see who we're becoming, and we're not going to stop. I mean, we're not going to get negative. We're not going to change. This is part of it. This is part of it, and you got to be willing to own the toughest moments that you're in. You got to be able to thrive in the toughest moments that you're in. We have unbelievable positives in the growth and where we're going and what we're building and how far we've come. But we want it now, We're the team. This is the team, and this is the staff that walked into this town day one and said, we're going to win a championship. We're going to win the West. We're going to be the team that wins the first bowl game. Now, that option's off the table now. We got 2 games left. So who are we every single day? We're here to grow. We're here to build this thing. We're here to win a West championship. We're here to win a conference championship. We are here to win the first bowl game. So we're going to maximize every day. We're going to grow every day. We're going to continue to fix our failures and build this program. So that's the mission. That's what it is. And yeah, is there frustration? Of course there is, because we set these standards real high. But we're not backing down from them either. And we got 27 seniors that this program means something to. And they play their tails off, and you see it. It hadn't come together, so you know what? Get up and fight for it again. Get up and fight for it again, and we will get there.
Coach, you talked about just the defense. I think a lot of people will see 26 unanswered points, but you look at how that defense really played as a defense when you're performing, getting off the field, doing so much, and you're not getting that complimentary football, as you mentioned, from the offense. That can be deflating at times. You kind of see, as you mentioned, just getting worn out. Did you see kind of that discouragement from the defense at all?
No, I didn't. I really didn't. I continued to hear our defense support our offense. Come on, baby. I continued to see our guys play to the end and play hard and play tough. I mean, you're sitting there and you look at it, as a head coach, and I see 4 out of 5 drives stopped in the first half, an unbelievable effort. And we're sitting there, and yeah, it's frustrating, but we never divide, because if we divide and we start pointing fingers and we blame and we get negative, those are all losing recipes. And what does that do then? Then we start to crack, and there's no crack. And look, this is the whole key. We came and we started this mission, and we started this journey to do what we said and to build it. We knew it wasn't going to be easy. It's going to be tough, but we like tough times. You got to like it. We're not backing down from it. We're not getting soft. We're getting hard, and we're learning. And do we like it? No. Does our players celebrating it in the locker room? No. They're hurt, But they get up and they get to work again and they pick it up again, and that's uncommon. And if you will stay the course through tough times, it always gets tougher before it gets better. And if you're willing to stay steady in these times and not bend, and you get up and you do it again, and you do it again, what this team's doing, we will break through. We will get there. It's the only way. If we thought we were going to come walk right in here and be champions off the get-go, that was our goal, and that's how we're going to work, and that's how we're going to fight. And that's how we're going to respond. But, you know, it's willing to embrace those tough times and live right through them and not change, and that's what I'm saying, and that's what I'm proud of these kids for. I'm proud of these players for and these coaches. So, you know what? Let's get up and let's do it again, and let's keep building, because there's so many things that are growing. It's easy to harp on the negatives, and we own the negatives. We own them. We don't run from them. We own them. And we're going to keep teaching you to own them until we fix them.
Coach, I mean, your post-game press conference is quite clear for obvious reasons that, like, you're frustrated, you're upset, you know, after a loss. But, I mean, for 6 straight, I mean, how, I don't know, mentally draining is it for you? How do you, you know, go about the rest of your day just trying to figure out the problems and everything?
You know, this job is not for the weak. You know, this situation is not for the soft. And I wanted this job. I love this job, and I mean this. I love ULM, and I'm here. And it's going to take a special group. It's going to take a special group to knock through that door. And you got to be willing to embrace it. You know, my journey and God's plan for me, I've been through these journeys. I've been through tough-ass times now. And I've been through the bottom. And we've taken it to the top. And this is part of it. It is part of it. Is it easy? No, I'm not going to tell you it's easy. But you got to like hard, man. You got to like hard, and you got to be tough. And I'm willing to lead right through this sucker now. I am, and I'm willing to fight for this university and our people, our fans, our players, our coaches, our alumni. You know, I know without a shadow of a doubt I'm built for this, and I'm not going to back down to it. Some people, I would say 9 out of 10 would run from it. I'm going to run to it. You know, I'm going to run to it. And we're going to get there. We are going to get there. There's positive things happening all around us. There's so much momentum outside the wins and losses that we're currently in right now that the true change and the things that need to happen for us to continue to take the steps that we need to take got to happen. You know, we got to know where we're at and where we're going, and there's a lot of positive things that are on the horizon. We got to be willing to fight to get there. You know, I sit there and, you know, I want to walk in that locker room, and I want to see our kids smiling. I want to see them feel success. That's important. You know, it's important to me on what they've invested. And we're going to keep fighting until we get that. We just are. And you know, I embrace this opportunity. And, you know, it ain't built for everybody, but it's built for some. And I promise you, it's built for us.
You know, Coach, talk about it's going to take special players. I think phase 1, the process of getting guys to buy into it. Year 2, we're seeing that buy-in, building that foundation. When you have guys that are in the program who are dedicated to the program and see the grit, the fight this team has, this group coming up, you know, though this year may not have been the expectations, but they see and the care they have for it. You have special guys in here that will be here. That's going to take this team to great levels, aren't they?
Yeah, there's no doubt in my mind. You sit here and you look at the senior class. They've laid the foundation. I mean, they really have. Phase 1, 5 and 7. Now, phase 2, we're right there now. People aren't bleeding us out. We haven't executed good enough offensively in the Coastal game, in the Troy game, in, you know, the South Alabama game where we had opportunities. We've closed the gap in so many ways. We beat Arkansas State for the first time in 15. We're right there. With a lot of these teams in different situations that we don't make excuses for either. We've had multiple players rise up and have to step up, and they have. And regardless of what we go through, the key is being consistent in the mission and the man that you are every single day, regardless of the outcome. And if we see all the things that it takes to win a West and to win a conference championship, and we got to continue to fix those and clean those up and continue to build this roster and this future.
Why do you think the penalties have been an issue? I mean, in your postgame, you just said that from like the least penalized team to the most penalized team this year. That's been a thing throughout the course of the season. Why do you think that hasn't been corrected?
That's been a great question, and we talked to the team about that. I talked to the team about that. Last year we were the least penalized team in the conference, and we're big on discipline. We're big on accountability, from their lockers, from their time, from their classes, to everything that we do. Discipline is one of our core values. It's one of our biggest things that we believe in, is discipline and toughness. And to sit there and to have 8 penalties for 101 yards and to be the most penalized team, and it's concerning, and it's very disturbing to me as the head football coach. And you sit there, so you analyze each and single one of them. And I think you have it was 4 on offense, and we had 4 on defense. And so you sit there and say, is it lack of effort? Is it effort? Because if we got unbelievable effort and we're trying to work and we're working our technique and sometimes things happen, then we still clean it. But if there's penalties like holding is something you can fix. Do not hold. Keep your hands inside. Have great hand placement. Keep your feet. Keep your base. And if you're losing them, let them go. Those are things that can be fixed. But effort plays, and you go, and I'll say it what it is, because I'm always going to tell you the truth. You go to Jonathan Bibbs. That was a big, we've got a good drive going, man. It's 2014. The penalty that was called on Jonathan Bibbs, and it was called a blindside block. You go back and you watch that tape and you watch that film, it was a perfectly fit block. He fit right on him perfectly. And I disagree, but that's my opinion. Go back and watch it. But at the end of the day, that was one of 10, plays that we could have executed or we could have done. And that play was executed, but there was, 8 to 10 that we did that we've got to clean up that we did to ourselves. And so, okay, that's what it is. Clean it, and you fix it, and you work on it in practice. You don't complain about it. You don't get negative about it. This is what it is. Fix it.
Coach, you talked about it. Bowl game chances out the window. Now the guys just let loose, just play 2 more games. Still a lot. 2 games that mean something to this program. How do you guys attack it?
We attack it every single day the same way, and that's why I told them we don't change anything. We are who we are. We have to continue to climb and continue to get better and continue to eliminate the things that are hurting us from being, a bowl team. We've got 2 games left, 2 really good teams. You got Texas State, who has been in, a lot of high-scoring games, and, was predicted to win the West. Who's got probably the most talented roster in the league. Them and James Madison, when I watched the film, they've got the most talented roster in the West. They're good. We got to go to Tech. We got to play a good Texas State team. It's about us, and it's always been about us. And our team understands that. They do, especially through the journey we've been through this year, because it's those things that have held us back. Has been us, the penalties, the turnovers, those opportunities. It's been about us. So it's about us continuing to get better, continue to build this program, continuing to live to the standards of what we believe in.
You as an offensive play calling, offensive mind, how much, can you, one, how much does it pain you to watch your offense struggle, throughout the year? And then 2, what sort of changes, are you going to try anything different for the final 2 games just because there's no, might as well?
No, we're going to stick to who we are because we believe in who we are. And yeah, it's been frustrating. I'm sitting there, Saturday, and it's frustrating because I see our team's effort, and I see the will, and I see the toughness, but I don't see the execution. And I own that. I own that. I take that personal because it's on me. and I've got to put our kids in good situations to execute and give them the best opportunity to make plays with our personnel that we have. We've got some guys playing at high levels. We're asking guys to play multiple positions. You know, we're really down to about a 4 or 5 man rotation at receiver. You know, our tight ends, Julian and Riley, they're playing at a high level. We've got to put Aiden in better situations. You know, we can say, you know, how about we keep him, we protect him, we keep him out of 3rd and 17 and 3rd and 15 and 3rd and 20 and 3rd and 21 and 3rd and 35. That's tough. So it all works together. We've just got to continue to get better as a unit, because all 11, one guy, one man doesn't do his job, there's lack of execution on offense. One guy, you know, gets a pre-snap or a post-snap penalty, it affects all of us and sets us back. So we've just got to continue to own that and continue to improve it, period.
You keep saying that you guys are close and everything. We've talked about this before, but I mean, with the scores, it's not like they're one-score games. That would, from a fan's perspective, you'd say, okay, we're close, we lost, you know, 5 one-score games, but these games aren't one-score games. So I mean, minus the first half or the first 2 drives, I guess we took the lead. It kind of all went downhill after that.
It did.
So I mean, just how do you keep the fan base, I guess, interested in you guys for the final 2 weeks, and you know, to if you're trying to explain to them that you guys are close.
Well, I mean, I think the biggest thing is we see exactly where we're at and where we came from and where we're trying to go. You know, we've got 2 games left. Our kids are going to play hard. They're going to play tough. They play for a purpose and a mission. We've got to execute better. You know, we've got to score more points. We've got to play complementary football better, the things that it takes to win games. That we had 2 pieces of the puzzle. I thought we played really good defensively. We played good enough to win. I thought we played really good in the kicking game. I thought we played poorly offensively. I thought our execution was bad. You go down to 3rd down. We were bad on 3rd downs. I haven't been a part of a team that was good at 3rd and 20 plus when you've got 3 of them. I haven't been a part of that. So you got to eliminate those. You've got to establish drives. But to do that, you can't put yourself 1st and 20, 2nd and 17, 3rd and 20 twice, and 3rd and 35. It's that simple. It's not a key. I mean, here's what it is. We're in for the long haul. I mean, it's about our kids. It's about this university, about our team continuing to get better. This is where we're at right now. This is where we're at. And so what do? You know, stay in it. You stay in it. And there will come a time, you know, there will come a time where we will be celebrating together. But we got to be willing to stick together to get to those times is the key.
We want to go back to the defense again. Noah Fleming, first career touchdown. You just talked about the guy, the Lord he plays with. To see him make that play, get in the end zone, how special is that for him?
He's earned every bit of it. Noah's the same guy every day. He's gotten better every week. He's a great teammate. He's a great kid. You know, you got to almost talk to Noah for him to talk. He just comes to work every day, and he's about what we believe in, and he's a joy to coach, and he continues to get better. And what a huge moment, you know, in that game at that moment for him and our defense.